Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Raghuir. In this class, we discuss about selection sort implementation in Python. In our previous classes, we have done some examples. We use the concepts which we already discussed in our previous classes. Please follow our playlist from the beginning so that you will have a better understanding of the complete Python language. The link for the playlist is provided in the description below. Coming to today's example, let's refresh the concept of selection sort. If you are not good at a selection sort, all these things are clearly discussed in our data structures playlist. Please watch our data structures playlist and come back here. We just refresh the concept of selection sort here and we go for the implementation. So let's refresh the concept of selection sort. Let's take an example. In this example, we are taking n is equal to 6, means 6 elements are considered and we are placing that elements in a list. So in the list we are having index values. Index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 elements. The important point we have to keep in mind, that is very important to write the logic. 6 elements means the last element will be at the position 5th position. So based on that we have to write the logic. Elements index starts from 0th position. These are the elements 8, 2, 5, 1, 4, 6. These are the elements which we are using in as an input. We have to change these elements into the ascending order. That is what we have to do by using selection sort logic. What is done in the selection sort logic? That try to understand. Let's refresh the concept. In the first iteration of the selection sort, we will start from the 0th position. The 0th position element 8 is considered as the minimum element. So we are taking a variable called minimum. In that minimum we are taking the 0th position element as the minimum element, and we have to identify the minimum element in this entire list from the 0th position. We are starting from 0th position, identify the minimum element that is present in this entire list. So that is what we have to do. How we do that? 0th position element is considered as the minimum element. Then go for first position. First position element is compared with the minimum value. Minimum is equal to 8. So 2 less than 8. Yes. Now change the minimum as 2 and maintain this position. We need the position also. Why we need the position means at the end we will swap the elements. Now the minimum element is 2. Now compare that with second position element 2 less than 5. No. So 5 less than 2, no. So keep the minimum element as 2, that is in the position 1. Now compare the third position element, 1 less than 2, yes. Minimum is equal to 1 and it is at the position third position. We have to maintain the position also. Next 4 less than 1, no. 6 less than 1, no. So the minimum element is present at position third position. So after completing this, what we have to do? We have to swap the elements. 0th position element is swapped with the third position element. The minimum value is moved to the first position in first iteration. This is what we are doing here in the first iteration. What we have done here? So the entire list of elements, the minimum value is moved to 0th position. According to ascending order, it should be at the first position. That is what we have done in the first iteration. The same thing repeated in the second iteration from first position onwards. So from the first position, the element is considered as the minimum element, and out of the remaining elements, we are eliminating this 0th position. No need to consider because the minimum element is already present in the 0th position. Out of remaining elements, identify the minimum element and swap them in the second iteration. Third iteration, eliminate this. Don't consider this 0th and first position. Start from second position, means the third smallest element, should be moved to this second position. That is what we are doing here in a first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration. How many iterations we have to do? We have to do, if n elements are there, n minus 1 iteration should be done. So here we use the concept of nested loops. Why we need nested loops? In the first iteration, in order to do this first iteration, we need a loop. We have to start from 0th position, first, second, third, move on to and identify the minimum value, and the position is maintained. In order to do this, we need a loop. And we will continue this type of iterations for n minus 1 times. That's why we need nested loop within a loop. That's why the concept of nested loops is very, very important. Most of the cases we use nested loop. That's why we have chosen many of the examples on a nested loop. So how the implementation will be in the second iteration. we have to start from 1. In the third iteration, we have to start from 2. In the fourth iteration, we have to start from third position. In the fifth iteration, we have to start from fourth position. That is what we are doing. Now let's check the implementation part. We are taking the elements is equal to, we are taking an empty list. In this empty list, we have to fill the elements, input elements. N is equal to int input of enter the number of elements. We have to enter the number of elements. N is equal to 6. It will take 6 elements and place it in the list. How to place it? Take the input from the keyboard and place it in the list. So for I in range of n, so here range function, range of n means n is equal to 6 means it will take values from 0 to 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This point is also very important to write the logic. The last element is not considered. N is equal to 6 means 6th is not considered. So the discussion about range function is made in our previous classes, and we are taking the elements input from the keyboard and appending it to the list. Elements.append of ELE. Elements are appended to the list. So we have done taking the input here. Now the logic starts. For I in range of n minus 1, we are taking the elements from 0, 1, 2, so on up to n minus 1. N minus 1 is not considered. We will consider only up to, so this is n minus 1. We will consider up to fourth position. That is what we are doing here. Why we are consider only up to fourth position? We have to repeat the iterations n minus 1 times. 6 elements. We have to repeat for 5 times. What's the last element? That's in the position last before element will be at the position 4. That's why we are taking n minus 2 position, up to n minus 2 position. Repeat the elements. That is what we are doing here. So for I is equal to I in range of n minus 1, initially this loop will consider I as a 0th position. So minimum is equal to elements of I. 0th position element is considered as minimum value and position is considered as I. 0th position is considered as a I value. Position is considered as 0th position. That is the minimum position. We have to update in the nested loop. For j in range of I comma n, y I comma n, 0 to n. In the next iteration, when I is equal to 1, we have to repeat, we have to identify minimum element from 1 to nth position, n minus 1 position. So n is not considered, n up to n minus 1 will be considered in the range function. That's why I comma n means up to n minus 1th position. So that is what we are doing here. So j is equal to, in the third iteration, I is equal to 2. So it starts from second position to n minus 1 position. In the fourth iteration, I is equal to 3, third position to n minus 1 position. That is how we are repeating this. So minimum is each time when we go into the ith iteration means this is 0th position. Minimum of 0th elements of 0th position is considered as minimum. Position is equal to I. When we go into the jth loop, if elements of j less than minimum, update minimum is equal to element of j and position is equal to j. We have to update the position also. We have to maintain that position because after completing this loop, we have to swap the elements that are present in ith position and the position which we are maintaining here, the minimum element position. Those two should be swapped. So that is how we have done the logic. After coming out of this loop, we are swapping the elements. After completing this entire nested loop, we are printing the elements. Elements will be in the ascending order. This is the logic for selection sort. Now take the example we are taking here is enter the number of elements is equal to 5. Enter elements is equal to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After completing that, we are displaying the elements. The elements are in ascending order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is all about selection sort. Hope you understand the concept. If you have any questions regarding the concept, please post your questions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you.